What the hell was that tonight? What the fuck did I just spend 3 hours of my life watching? This was the biggest waste of fucking time in a long fucking time. You promoted Legends coming back because you have to salvage your ratings because 2-3 weeks ago they hit their all-time low. Guess what? It conveniently also deals with the fact that there was no Monday Night Football tonight. This is the first episode without Monday Night Football because the season is over. It ended last night. So here we are with Legend Night. You want to know what the Legends did? Stand backstage, get berated by Randy Orton, watch a main event where they were not social distance, where they weren't wearing masks, so anybody telling you to mask up or social distance, you had senior citizens most of the talent most of the Legends are senior citizens, sitting on the ramp, chairs shoulder to shoulder, not wearing masks and not socially distancing. So anybody telling you to mask up and social distance can go fuck off, and that includes you, Mick Foley. The Legends did nothing. They didn't put anybody over but a Randy fucking Orton, which he berates them, and you figure the way they had the show go tonight, you had Randy Orton go to the back. He berated Mark Henry. He berated The Big Show. He even berated Ric Flair, who was made to look like a bitch by his daughter earlier in the show. And you figure, oh, this is setting up that you're going to have all these Legends who are here, which ain't many. Usually, because of COVID and all that other bullshit, they were very low on Legends tonight. Usually, there was like maybe 20 Legends here, maybe. Usually, you would have like 50 or 60 or as many as they could drag out. But, yeah. And to top it all off, on this shit Sunday of a show, shit Sunday of a show, you have to go and bring back the Goldberg himself to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. And on top of that, shove him on his ass and make him look like a geek. Holy fuck, this show sucks. This was the worst first episode of Monday Night Raw of the year, probably in its 20-some year history. This was fucking awful. And this is only week 1. We have 51 more weeks of the year, and this is how they start the year? This is supposed to save the fucking ratings? This show started off so badly. You started the show off with looked like an iPhone with a Hulk Hogan cover, like one of those, cases. It looked like that for an iPhone, but it wasn't an iPhone, brother. It was the H-phone. So you have Hulk Hogan open the show, and then we go straight to Miz TV. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Miz TV. It was New Day Talk. This show, WWE does realize that the majority of the casuals are not around anymore. It's the hardcore fans, the ones who watch, pay attention, that aren't fucking stupid, who aren't just watching every so often because, hey, look, there's somebody I know from back when the Attitude Era was around, or the Golden Age, or whatever. No, the ones who sit there, bitch, moan, complain, want to see better, and don't get better, but keep going because they want to be there when the company balances up and goes the other way. They don't want to be known as fair weather watchers. They want to see this. WWE is down to just like a sports team with loyal fans. You're always going to have those casuals that come in, like say you have like in the NBA, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving who go to the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to have people watching the Brooklyn Nets games this year, and if we could have fans, and you would have people attend the games who normally wouldn't because they have stars on their team. As soon as those guys leave, whether it's they go to a different team or they retire, and they don't have any stars to replace them, the casuals are going to move on to the next flavor of the month, while the loyal fans sit there and just watch, hoping to eventually have stars on their team again. That's where WWE is right now. all the casuals are gone. So what do? They have to bring the stars from yesteryear back, because without those stars, the casuals won't come in. Because they want to get a 2 or a 3 pop rating, which will never happen again with the way they're going right now. But WWE just limping to the barn again, because the USA Network is not happy at the all-time ratings low. You know what? I hope they get a huge rating. I hope they get a 2.5. So next week, when it drops back down to a 1.7, they will have no one to blame for their fucking selves. You gave us a WWE Championship match tonight that sucked. It sucked not because of the 2 men who were in it. It sucked because you changed Keith Lee from who he used to be to this slow, methodical big man that Vince McMahon wants to see in all of his big men that look like Keith Lee. Yes, they hit a Spanish fly off the top rope, but that's about it. Keith Lee used to be a big, huge luchador. Pretty much. He was doing shit the entire time in matches that guys his size should not be doing. I know he's on commentary right now, but he was like a younger Samoa Joe. Because when Samoa Joe was starting out with young in TNA, he was the guy wowing crowds, that doing things that a big man should not be doing. That was Keith Lee in the Independents. That was Keith Lee in NXT. And then what does WWE and Vince McMahon do? Let's change him up. Let's make him a slow, methodical big man and make him a boring talent. Make him just like everybody else. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is allowed to stand out on these shows. If you start standing out, Vince McMahon's gonna pull the reins on you back. Unless your name is Roman Reigns, and right now Drew McIntyre, you are not allowed to be different at all. And it's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Now, going into this show, I was wondering, gee, who are the legends going to bury this week? And then I was thinking, wouldn't it be a shame if WWE had Retribution come out to circle a bunch of legends, and then a bunch of legends circle like a Hulk Hogan or a Ric Flair, and then the lights go out, lights come back on, and there's a bunch of legends in the ring who show up in the ring to beat down and embarrass Retribution. Well, we didn't see Retribution at all in this show, which is, I guess, fine, because they fucking suck, and it's not their fault. The talent themselves don't suck, except for Shane Thorne. He's kind of terrible as it is. Everyone else has fucking talent, but they're being miscast and misused. But this show, top to bottom, was fucking terrible. You had Charlotte Flair and Asuka taking on Peyton, Royce, and Lacey Evans. I still will be asking this until I get a solid fucking answer. Why did you break up Peyton Royce and Billie Kay if all you're gonna do is put her in another tag team? I didn't like the Moronics, but they had familiarity. They had chemistry, which it was bad chemistry. It was cringe chemistry, because that's just how WWE goes. But they at least complimented each other, even no matter how well they were. They actually were a team for years. Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce have zero chemistry together. They are fucking awful. They are boring. They are fucking terrible. And the entire match, Ric Flair was at Charlotte's side. The entire match, Lacey Evans is trying to flirt and woo Ric Flair. So it comes down to the end, and Ric Flair trips up his own daughter. Now, it looked like maybe he was going to try and trip up Peyton Royce, but he's old. He's old, and his daughter and Peyton Royce was gone before he was able to latch his arm into her, and he ended up hitting his daughter and causing her to lose. After the match, Peyton she goes over to him, just eyes him up and is like, "Stay out of my business again." And just belittles him and then tells him to go, and Ric Flair, not saying anything, walks away with his tail between his legs like the little bitch he is. This guy doesn't even look like Ric Flair anymore. The Ric Flair that many wrestlers looked up to and started their professional wrestling careers because of is gone, dead, buried. This is not Ric Flair. This is not Ric Flair. This is not Charlotte Flair's dad. This is Charlotte Flair's bitch. Plain and simple. On top of that, later in the show, while Randy Orton's running roughshod backstage, making fun of Mark Henry, making fun of the Big Show, he goes to Ric Flair and makes him his bitch as well. So it's not just Charlotte Flair's bitch, it's Charlotte and Randy Orton's bitch. It's like, I'm fine with the legends getting, like, buried, I guess, if you want to put a heel over, but of all people to do this with, you did it with Randy fucking Orton, who doesn't need a rub. If you could have had, I don't know, some young, up-and-coming heel going around doing this, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Because at least you're building heat for somebody new. Randy Orton kicked in quotation marks, I'm using quotation marks, he kicked Ric Flair in the head earlier this year. Big Show, Christian, which, by the way, where's Christian at? This is Legends Night. Where's Christian? They had Alicia Fox on this fucking show as a quote-unquote legend. I don't care how long Alicia Fox is in the WWE. She is not, nor will she ever be, a motherfucking legend. Period. Just because you were in the wrestling business, just because you wrestled or was a part of a wrestling company for 10 plus years, doesn't mean you're a legend. You were just there in the background 95% of your career. Remember how Alicia Fox got started in WWE? She was the wedding planner for Edge and Ricky Guerrero and got caught on film making out with Edge. That was her start in WWE. Other than that, she won the Divas title, I think, but who cares about that title? After that, she did literally almost nothing until she teamed up with the Bella Twins for Team Bella versus Team PCV versus Team Bad. And then after that, nothing again. Tell me how she's a fucking legend, because she's not. Period. And poor Tatanka. This poor soul came to this show and is the only guy who dressed up as if he's going out to have a match. He had the war paint on. He had the, what the fuck is that called? The feathers, whatever that, the headdress on. He had his wrestling gear, his wrestling boots, everything. The whole 9 yards. And he was just in the back, chatting up with Mickie James and Sergeant Slaughter. Mickie James is a fucking legend in professional wrestling. She did more in the early 2000s, in the 2000s, than Alicia Fox ever did in her fucking career in WWE and in TNA. She is a legend, whether she's able to wrestle or not. Alicia Fox? No. But again, poor Tatanka. You had Sergeant Slaughter wearing his Sergeant Slaughter hat and a camo jacket, but he wasn't dressed to compete. IRS was on this show, and my God, has Mike Rotundo put on some fucking weight. The last time we saw him on one of these legend type shows, he looked like maybe if they wanted to give him a spot in the Rumble, he could do it. But this guy, since he's been, I think he got fired in that I think he was let go on Black Wednesday last year. He looks a lot like he let himself go. But even he wasn't dressed up like IRS. He was dressed in a normal suit, a suit jacket and everything. But it's like, I'm just like, wow. Did Tatanka really think he was going to have a wrestling match tonight? Because that's the only reason I can see why he would even do that. But jeez. So, I just ranted a lot, but we go to Hulk Hogan with a quick promo heist at Legends Night. Who gives a shit? Off to the Thunderdome. Miz and Morrison. Miz is all happy about being the fucking Money in the Bank briefcase holder again, which is so fucking dumb. Let me ask you something. Last year, not in 2019, when Brock Lesnar was Mr. Money in the Bank, and he cashed in his Money in the Bank, who actually gave the briefcase to the referee to cash it in? It wasn't Brock Lesnar, it was Paul Heyman. Why was this loophole not brought up last year? I mean, I keep saying last year because it's 2021 right now, and it's only 3 days in, and they're already pissing me off. 4 days, whatever. We're 4 or 5 days in. But yet, nobody complained last year. It's like, oh, Brock Lesnar can't leave. That match, that title win didn't count because Brock Lesnar didn't cash it in. Paul Heyman did. Where was all that in 2 years, in 2019? Why is it all of a sudden that The Miz is gifted back his Money in the Bank briefcase because Morrison tagged it in? He wanted him to cash in. If it wasn't a legal cash in, then Miz should not have been allowed in the match. So, and besides, when has this ever been a part of the stipulation that the person who is Money in the Bank has to be the one to cash in? I don't get this. I just don't get this. It's just so fucking stupid. Basically, the only reason I say that he keeps the Money in the Bank is because it's the only fucking way to keep The Miz and John Morrison relevant. They are irrelevant without it. So, the first legend we see tonight, because we do have, like I said, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston come out and it's like, we have a new talk show ourselves, New Day Talk. And they take over the show, make fun of The Miz a little bit. Miz gets pissed off. They're yelling back and forth. Out comes Teddy Long. Adam Pearce comes up behind him, whispers something in his ear. Long corrects his announcement, says it will be Miz and Morrison. Oh wait, first he was like, it will be Miz and Morrison versus The Undertaker. Oh God. That's it. That's one of his lines. But of course, Adam Pearce has to come up and say, yeah, it's tag team match, not Undertaker, dude. Come on. I mean, come on, Teddy. I'm sure your brain ain't that far gone yet. But it's going to be a tag team match with Miz and Morrison versus The New Day. You know, what we were going to fucking get anyway. I mean, it's so badly booked but it's like, this was we were 5 minutes into this show. And I'm sitting there going, do they want me to actually watch this show? Do they want anyone to watch this show? The Hulk Hogan promo at the beginning was cringe as fuck. Anything they do with Miz and John Morrison is cringe as fuck. So why, if I'm somebody who hasn't watched WWE in a month, in about 3 weeks, a month, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, why should I come back to watch Monday Night Raw just to see this garbage? I really want to know where they started and how quickly they lost it, because I guarantee that opening 2 segments with Hogan, I guarantee Hulk Hogan turned off so many people who are still not happy with the fact that WWE associates with the guy with a bona fide racist. Yes, he is. The fact that the whole sex tape thing, yes, it was private. It shouldn't have been something that was leaked, but it's out there. He's going to be deemed a racist for the rest of his fucking life. And I'm pretty sure people who are, in that camp of wanting to name everything racist and knows that this guy is racist and they can't stand to watch the guy anymore, I wonder how many of those people got turned off within the first 5 seconds, because as soon as they turned on Raw and saw that Hulk Hogan symbol, they're like, oh, changing the channel because Hulk Hogan's on the show and I will not have anything to do with Hulk Hogan on my TV. So we get the New Day versus Miz and John Morrison. This was a basic match. Nothing really special here. New Day win. Woods goes in, hits a Shining Wizard on Morrison for the pin and the win. After the match, the New Day celebrate as the music hits. We go to replays. The camera shows Miz and Morrison sitting in the ring against the barricade, sitting up against the barrier, looking disappointing as the winners celebrate. Why are they disappointed? John Morrison got pinned, but The Miz is still Mr. Money in the Bank, so what does he have to be disappointed about? Honestly, whether Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre or WWE Champion coming out of the Rumble, do you really think, or even Goldberg, because we'll get to that later, do you really think The Miz is going to be winning, cashing in successfully the Money in the Bank briefcase? Again, no. He's going to be the first person to fail the Money in the Bank briefcase not once, but twice. I don't see him beating Drew Nobody wants to see Miz as WWE Champion. Nobody wants to see him beating anybody. It's just, Again, I don't get how this stipulation thing is even a thing. The announcer show us how last week's Raw ended with Randy Orton holding over a match over Alexa Bliss, who has soaked herself in water. Which, yeah, I didn't think about it, but Dave Meltzer did mention this on Wrestling Observer with Brian Alvarez, that when everything was going fine and good with that, and then until you had Alexa Bliss open the gas can and dump it on her head, because that kind of took it away and made it real obvious it wasn't gasoline, it was water. You want to know why? Because if it was actual gasoline, you would have had the EMTs out there flushing her eyes of gas, because she would have been blind within probably 30 seconds to a minute after dumping actual gas on her face, on her head. But WWE just don't know how to book shit. By the way, no Alexa Bliss, no Fiend still, so I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Charlie Caruso is backstage with Orton. She asks what he's thinking about at that moment. He says the voice in his head told him to drop the match and do it. Just drop it. But he didn't do it because he couldn't, and realized why. It's because you, like everyone else who has faced the Fiend, something changes in you. He says he showed Bliss restraint, therefore he showed her compassion and mercy, and for that he hates himself for it. But then he realized that that hatred for himself, he can mold it and sculpt it. He realized that now there are no boundaries and he is capable of anything and everything. If we can imagine him redirecting that newfound hatred to someone else. She asks about the Fiend, but Orton doesn't want to talk about the Fiend right now. Now he's going to go on a walk and find his old friends, some legends, and remind them why he is a legend killer. And that is that. Back from break, we see how Angel Garza beat R-Truth on TikTok, of all places, for the 24/7 Garbage Championship. Don't really care. And then we go back to see Alicia Fox, and she's not a legend. He's flirting with her. She's not interested. She walks off. He approaches Tatanka, Mickie James, and Hall of Famer Sergeant Slaughter. After some brief dialogue, Garza says he's honored to meet Mickie, and then offers her a rose, but Sergeant intercepts and calls Garza a maggot, and Garza walks off. So, much ado about nothing. You had three legends and an Alicia Fox here for about 30 seconds to a minute for nothing. This company, this is what they do with legends. You only have a 3-hour time slot. And you bring all these legends back, and what do they do most of the time? They're standing, and conversating, and then something else. The legends don't even do anything, so I don't even know why you bring them here. What's the fucking point of bringing Tatanka in if all he's going to do is stand there looking like a geek dressed to wrestle, only to stand there and do nothing? Tatanka would have been fine if he would have just showed up. If he could have had a t-shirt of himself on, or a WWE shirt, whatever. Have the headdress on if he wanted to, because I think that's something that even Chief Jay Strongbow would have did. But no, they decided he decided to show up to wrestle and didn't wrestle. And then we go to AJ Styles versus Elias. Now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Did WWE when we came back from commercial break, did WWE mix up and did it go off the air? Did they go off the air, or something happened in the Thunderdome and they had to replay Monday Night Raw last week? Because I swear I saw this match last week. Oh, that's right, we did. It's time to go 50-50 on you. AJ wins. Nothing else out there. Nothing that. Moving on. Which, before we do that, AJ getting up, Jackson Ryker gets in the ring. He's going to attack AJ with a guitar. Omos blocks it by shattering him with his foot, which they say a kick, but really what he did is he put his leg up and intercepted the guitar shot, so it just looked dumb. Backstage video of earlier today with the Women's Tag Team Champion Charlotte Flair telling Sarah Schreiber that she will be the woman entering the Women's Royal Rumble, joining Nia Jax, which we had a whole episode of SmackDown and not one woman on SmackDown said, I'm going to be entering the Royal Rumble. Whatever. Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Peyton, Royce, and Lacey Evans. Like I said, the whole time of this match, Lacey Evans is trying to do everything she can to flirt with Ric Flair. Now, before the match, we go to the back and we see Matt Riddle talking it up with the Big Show. He's going to get ready for his huge match with the United States Champion Bobby Lashley, but he'll reconnect with Show later. Randy Orton walks up and says it must be interesting feeling you can't step in the ring again. Show asks who said he can't get in the ring. He reminds him what happened last time they got in the ring and says Show's career is over thanks to him. Show dismisses this and says he can get back in the ring at any time. Orton ends up grabbing the Show by the throat and threatening him with some more, which Show just... He gets up, he looks like he's about to, do something to Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton doesn't really choke him, he just puts his hand on his chest, and he goes from being the world's, largest athlete to a little bitch. Yeah. Even the Big Show is made to look like a bitch on this night. Randy Orton working overtime to make all these legends look like a bitch. Orton said, threatening, he says, Show knows Orton what he's trying to do. Show says on and says he's not embarrassed to be out there with a legend tonight. He's proud. Orton isn't buying this and says if he's true, he would get up and do something, but you're not going to do something. He goes on taunting Show before walking off. We see Show seething in the chair. Yeah, Show, you a little bitch. Congratulations, you have been made Orton's bitch. Backstage, we see Asuka is out to join Flair. Peyton is out first for her team was Mike Bowman does the introductions. Out comes Lacey Evans, and like I said, why is Asuka? I want to see Asuka and Shayna Baszler have a feud and go for that championship. The two most dominant women in NXT vying for the WWE Championship, building all the way to WrestleMania. They could have a match at Royal Rumble, a match in March, and then a match at WrestleMania, in which Shayna Baszler does what she should have did in 2020 and win the Raw Women's Championship. But right now, they have her tethered to the most useless titles in WWE. I bag on the 24/7 Championship all the time because it is a joke title, but man... The Women's Championships feel so irrelevant. Why is it that the Women's Tag Team Championships feel like they are lower and more irrelevant than the 24/7 Championship? Can someone explain that to me? So, Evans follows Flair on the apron, but Charlotte kicks her to the floor. Charlotte follows and brings Evans back in the ring. Flair ducks a Peyton Royce kick. Flair then trips Charlotte as she runs the ropes, but on accident or possibly not, and Royce takes advantage for the pin and the win. After the battle, she sits up. She's shocked. Evans runs over and kisses Flair, but he acts annoyed and upset. Evans and Royce back up the ramp together as the music is playing. Charlotte slowly exits the ring and stares her dad down. She has daggers in her eyes. She gets in his face and tells him to stay out of her business again. Do you understand? Tells him to back away and then get out. He turns with his tail between his legs and walks away like the good little bitch that he is. So I'm like, this guy used to be highly respected. Used to be the dirtiest player in the game. Used to be one of the absolute best, one of the best sellers in the game. Would make me, who is a 30-year-old who has a bad knee and so many other problems with me, he would make me look like a fucking WrestleMania main eventer. That's how good Ric Flair is. You could put him in the ring with anybody and they would look like a big fucking star. Whittled down to being his daughter's bitch. Wow. How far the mighty have fallen. And it gets even worse for him later. Sheamus and WWE Champion Drew McIntyre backstage. Sheamus talks about tonight's main event and asks Drew to give Lee an extra kick to the head for him. He says he will do whatever it takes to defend the title. Sheamus wishes him good luck. Sheamus turns to Lee, but here is Hall of Famers Ric Flair and Jimmy Hart. Hogan is a fan of both. He's glad that he ran in the champ so he can wish him all good luck in the world. Hogan says it looks like Drew has been saying his prayer and eating his vitamins, and he's proud of the way Drew has carried the WWE title through these trying times. Hogan goes on and says Drew reminds him of himself. When Drew thanks Hogan and says this is also real, he jokes around and asks if Sheamus reminds Hogan of Jimmy Hart. Sheamus is in the mood for jokes, but wishes Drew McIntyre luck. Yeah. And I was thinking, well, this is setting this up for a match that hopefully will be happening at the Royal Rumble, but oh god, we were wrong. Talk about that in a bit. Drew and Hogan then delivered the "What You Gonna Do" line for Lee. Still to come, Riddle versus Lashley and Lee versus McIntyre. Speaking of Matt Riddle versus Lashley, that's what we have next. Now, both of these guys can go. And I do have to say, and I have to agree with a lot of people, since the Hurt Business deal has happened with Lashley, Bobby Lashley has looked a lot like he should have looked since the day he walked back into WWE. Now, I know MVP and Lashley have history from their days in TNA with the Beatdown Clan, but just putting them together was the best thing they could have did for Bobby Lashley. He spent 2 years just doing nothing but wallowing in his own piss and vinegar and just doing nothing. Vince McMahon put him in a fucking hole, and it looked like he was never going to climb out. And here he is, United States champion, and dominant as ever. Do you think Matt Riddle was going to win this match? Absolutely. I wish I could say not. I do. Okay, the ending I'm a little torn on this one. So Matt Riddle's in the Hurt Lock, and he tries to get out of it by using the ropes, putting his feet on the ropes to jump over to get out of it. The referee ducks. And moves towards the other end of the thing to be able to get himself composed again. While that happens, Matt Riddle taps out. Bobby Lashley drops him. Before the referee could see the tap, Bobby Lashley drops Riddle thinking, hey, I won the match. Referee didn't see it, so he's telling him, dude, I didn't see him tap. What are you talking about? I didn't see him tap. Of course, that while this is going on, they're both MVP and Bobby Lashley are distracted. Riddle rolls him up 1, 2, 3. Matt Riddle wins. Now, I have 2 thoughts on this. One, very clever way to, I guess, protect Bobby Lashley. 2, man, Bobby Lashley looks like an idiot. Instead of, you say, oh, he didn't tap? Let me put him in the Hurt Lock again and make him tap now. That's what I would have did. I would have had Bobby Lashley not sit there and argue with the ref and like, oh, you didn't see him tap? Fine. Pick his ass back up, put him in the Hurt Lock again, and make him not tap out, but pass out. And Bobby Lashley wins that way. But they went the other way to make Bobby Lashley look stupid. So Matt Riddle wins. Good on him. After the match, he heads straight at the ramp, and Bobby Lashley is just so pissed off. Ricochet is backstage with Hall of Famer Mark Henry, thanking him for doing everything he's done. Henry is using one of those medical mobile scooters for his knee, a recent surgery he had or something, and honestly, it just looks sad. Randy Orton walks up and taunts Henry some and also declares himself for the Royal Rumble, which apparently the rumors of the stipulation between Randy Orton and Fiend at Royal Rumble is either A, not happening, or B, still happening. And this is just Randy Orton saying his intentions are the Rumble, but he's not going to be in the Rumble because the Fiend's going to fuck him over. Henry goes to leave, but Orton grabs him and stops him. Orton says maybe they should go somewhere and reminisce and catch up on old times, like when Henry was representing the Hall of Pain, and hit Orton with the World's Strongest Slam over and over again. He says he owes Henry a lot of receipts, but he's thinking of giving Henry a pass because it's a special night. But a pass only if Henry pedals his way out of here. He tells Henry to get out of here. Henry starts pushing his scooter as Orton yells at him and taunts him. And it's like, it's just sad. Seeing a guy at one time when they did the Hall of Pain stuff back in 2011 was so dominant, and the whole thing, like him just being one of those big tough guys, seeing somebody like that in that position using a scooter to get around really looks fucking sad. I honestly wish Mark Henry would have skipped out on Legends Night. If he had that problem with his knee, if he had like surgery or something and he needed to use that scooter to get around, Honestly, I would have, if I was him, I would have declined because he's got the, like, I know image isn't everything, but it is to somebody in the professional wrestling business. And seeing a guy like Mark Henry lowered to that and then pretty much made a bitch of Randy Orton's again because he couldn't do anything, his knees all fucked up, it just was not a good look for Mark Henry. This was not a good Legends night for Legends, in my opinion. Most of it's like, it was terrible. It was bad. That was bad. Back for a break, and we see what happened with Matt Riddle and Bobby Lashley. Caruso is backstage with MVP and Lashley. MVP says Lashley was robbed of a victory, and it's nothing but a travesty. They both go on and insist that Riddle quit. Lashley says next time he gets his hands on Riddle, he won't beat him or hurt him. He's going to punish his punk ass. Riddle storms off, and MVP isn't far behind. After another word, Caruso says he's done pissed him off. Mandy Rose versus Shayna Baszler is supposed to happen next, but Shayna Baszler runs from behind and takes out Mandy Rose. So Dana Brooke comes out and is like, what the fuck? What the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? She gets to the ring and says, you know what? Come on, let's do this. So we get another rematch from last week. This match lasts not even 2 minutes. Dana Brooke is in the Carefree clutch, turns it into a pin, gets the win, and Dana Brooke beats Shayna Baszler. Wow. After the match, Baszler immediately locks in the Carefree clutch again. Rose rushes in and drops her with a knee. They make the save. Rose and Brooke then double team Baszler face first into the mat. Baszler ends up on the floor and Rose and Brooks taunt her from the ring. Where's Nia Jax? Is that tag team finally over or what? Orton approaches WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair and Molly Holly in IRS. IRS and Molly Holly leave. Orton proposes that Flair walk into the ring for old times. Flair says he will never walk with Orton again and goes about recently turning on him. He says he learned everything he knows from the dirtiest player of the game, but Flair is only irrelevant now because of his daughter. Oh boy, ain't that the fucking truth. Especially after tonight. He's not even... after tonight, Ric Flair lost all of his relevancy. I mean, this guy is a sad sack compared to what he used to be. Talk about somebody holding on to their prime years for way too long. Ric Flair, honestly, Ric Flair should go home, sit in his chair, and never show his face again. Out of all the legends tonight, I think Ric Flair took the biggest hit to their legacy on this show because my God, did they fucking disrespect him so badly. It's just fucking sad how WWE treats them. Wow. Like I said, all of this going on with Randy Orton, it's like, why is WWE booking Randy Orton to just berate these legends over and over again? I know he's doing the whole legend killer thing again, which he doesn't need. Back in 2002, 2004, the legend killer thing made sense because it was young guy, like legends putting a young up and coming guy over and building him up. Randy Orton is almost next year, if Randy Orton is still wrestling, will be 20 fucking years for Randy Orton on the main roster. He made his debut in the summer of 2002. So to have Randy Orton, who's been on WWE television for 19 fucking years this year, to still need to have legends put him over one way or another, just makes no fucking sense. Like I said, if there was I don't know, Dijakovic, I'm just using him because he's from NXT, who came up to NXT recently, was the one berating these legends and putting them down and trying to use them to get some rub. That's a different story because he's a new, young, up-and-coming guy who could use the rub. Randy Orton doesn't need it. Randy Orton could retire tomorrow and his legacy is stamped. He doesn't need any more help. Randy Orton can lose the rest of his career and he's got his career. His legacy is stamped and done. It's been cemented for 5 years now. At least. Back for the game, we see how Keith Lee defeated Sheamus to become the new number one contender last week. Lee is backstage warming up when Riddle approaches him, wishing him good luck. Then he says Lee doesn't need it. Good luck because he's a stallion. It's time for Lee to be the new champion for the new year. Lee thanks him and says he will see him later as Riddle leaves. Just wait. WWE's going to cut Keith Lee's name now to Lee. Coming down to the ring, it's Lee or Keith. I can just see it coming. Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy. I'm going to be honest here. I just really wasn't paying attention to this match. I don't care about this match. I really didn't. Now, I figured, like I said, with this match, that after everything that was going on with Randy Orton earlier in the night, Jeff's going to win this match because the legends, like somebody's music's going to hit. Tatanka's going to run down because he still looks younger than most of these guys, even though I'm pretty sure he's not. He's going to come down, others are going to come down, and they're going to distract Randy Orton. Jeff's going to win. After Jeff wins, he's going to get out. The legends are going to come in, hit a couple finishes on Randy Orton, which, by the way, Randy Orton can take it and not be fucking hurt because, again, his legacy is already cemented. Out of everybody on that fucking roster in 2021, the only person that the legends could really beat the hell out of and it wouldn't hurt them one bit is Randy Orton. But no, this match went on. Randy Orton got the win with an RKO out of nowhere. No legends anywhere. So Randy Orton went through, berated 3 legends, made them his fucking bitch, and suffered no consequences. Wow. Just wow. That was pathetic. Lucha House Party approaches Melina. They ask if she's here for Lucha's Legends Night. She does in a quick Lucha chant, and they get hyped. Melina walks off, and away in Grand Metalik and Dorado head to the ring, apparently excited over the endorsement by Melina. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin versus Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik. Now, this match on paper, all 4 guys in this match are fucking uber talented. Honestly, if this was in any other fucking company, if this was in AEW, if this was in New Japan, hell, probably even any of the other fucking companies, this match could have been a main event on any fucking show outside of a pay-per-view because it should be a title match or something. But on a Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan show, this would be a match that would get maybe 25 minutes and 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it would be a hell of a match. Did that happen here? Fuck no. The Benjamin and them have been Benjamin and Cedric have been tag team for what? Have been tag team champions for what? 2-3 weeks? And they are already having arguments. They are already having dissension. I know eventually that they're going to break Cedric Alexander away, but are you really going to do it already? Really? They lose to the Lucha House Party because Benjamin tags in and there's arguing between the champs. Lindsay takes advantage and rocks Cedric and takes Shelton down with a modified stunner. Lindsay capitalizes again and rolls Shelton up for the pin and the win. So at the Royal Rumble, it's probably going to be the Lucha House Party versus the Hurt Business, where they will lose as usual. A furious Shelton sits up while a furious MVP gets from the announce table. He calls the champs over and yells at them about how they should be embarrassed right now because he is. He tells them to figure out what's going on between them and fix it. They argue some more and Cedric storms off. Shelton goes to charge at him, but MVP holds him back and telling him he needs more from him because he is the veteran. Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, all veterans, while Cedric is the young guy in this group. Cedric could be wrestling for 10 plus years. I don't care. In WWE, he is still a young guy. He is still a young guy, and these are the veterans. He might have his immature moments, but they are the guys who need to be the example that he needs to be eventually. Garza's backstage. He runs into Nikki Cross and Tori Wilson. He offers her a rose, but she says in the middle of a conversation with Cross. Tori then tells Garza that he invited Cardi B, Kylie Jenner, and Ariana Grande to watch Raw. She says they're in the living room, they're living their best lives right down the hall, and Cardi would love to have the rose. Garza asks if they're really here, and Tori points them down to the hall and to a room. Garza walks in and enters the room for Cardi B. Red lights suddenly appear, and there's the fucking boogeyman. He scares Garza off. Garza runs down the hall, gets pinned, and Truth dances away with Torian Cross as Hall of Famer Ron Simmons walks up, looks at Garza, and does his damn trademark. Because you can't have a Legends night, anything that has to do with Legends, without a damn from Ron Simmons. WWE title match, Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre. This, I really wanted to like this match. I really wanted to like this match, but they have killed Keith Lee. They have killed Keith Lee, and it's just go watch Dijakovic versus Keith Lee 1, 2, 3, 4, how many matches they had on TV. That's the Keith Lee I wanted to see in this match. If we got that Keith Lee, then this would have been an all-time great. You had fucking people saying this is a match of the year contender after Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay, Tetsuya Naito and Kota Ibushi tore the Tokyo Dome down just less than 24 hours ago. And Jay White and Kota Ibushi are probably going to have a way better match than this for their titles. Just like, I'm pretty sure. You know what's going to be match of the year candidate in the next 24 hours? Probably Kota Ibushi versus Jay White and Shingo Takagi versus Jeff Cobb. I'm calling those right now. This was boring. It is late night. I am on the East Coast. So this is the late night shit. And I want to sleep and try and get up. I'm going to try and sleep for a few hours before Wrestle Kingdom so I can try and watch it live again. But this is the shit you're going to do. You're going to put me to sleep with this shit. Drew McIntyre is a hell of a champion. But what the fuck have they done to Keith Lee? The only thing that made me pop was the fucking Spanish Fly. And another thing that made me cringe was the fact that Keith Lee got powerbombed through the announce table, but Drew McIntyre didn't get anywhere close enough and could have fucking fucked Keith Lee's back up by powerbombing him on the corner of the announce table. Keith Lee eats the Claymore kick, 1, 2, 3, that was that. The match was fucking boring as hell. This is what happens when you have Vince McMahon send his big men to the Performance Center to take lessons on how to be a big man. Don't be different, be your own unique big man, how to be a WWE big man. Keith Lee contract cannot come up soon enough. Here's my thing. You got your moment in WWE. You got to be a part of the big giant company. You fulfilled that dream. It's time to move on because nobody should want to have their career finish in WWE. Because outside of an AJ Styles, a Drew McIntyre, and a Roman Reigns, everybody else has to be the same. Ricochet has been gutted. AJ Styles, I'm surprised AJ Styles is still the AJ Styles that he has been for years. I mean, he is a little tweaked, but he's not as damaged as everybody fucking else. Like I said, Roman Reigns is a different guy, especially with the Roman Reigns we have now. The Fiend is bleh, kind of bored of the Fiend. They ruined him completely. But yeah, this show from top to bottom was terrible. Then Drew's about to talk, in comes Goldberg, and he's like, you're a great champion. You got size, you got speed, but what you don't have is respect. Because you don't respect anybody up there. Okay, what the fuck? So, he's supposed to be a heel now? Drew says he didn't think anything like that about the Legends. Goldberg is just trying to get into his head, and everyone knows Drew is all about respect. He says this would be like fighting his own dad. Drops the mic, he starts up, and then Goldberg shoves him, making him look like a fucking geek. And Raw cuts off the air because somebody missed their time cues. WWE forgets that they don't have the overrun anymore. So, when it's 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the show goes off the air. No matter what. So, you should have had the match go a minute too less, have Goldberg come out, because he was slow as fuck to get to the ring because he's 50-some years old. And, yeah. I don't want this. I know there were a lot of people who I saw on both Parler and Twitter because I can still look at the trending on Twitter. A lot of people didn't want to see this match. Nobody with a brain who doesn't work for WWE wants to see this fucking match. Then you have Ryan Popola, who is part of the fucking bump crew, saying this is going to happen next, and he has a picture of Goldberg holding the WWE Championship. Give me a fucking break. This is what WWE is going to do. They're going to have Drew McIntyre drop the title to Goldberg. Please. I'd rather see Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. You want to know why? Because that will probably be a much better match than this shit. What in the literal fuck have I been watching for 3 goddamn hours? Holy fuck. I just can't even deal with this shit. Oh my god. It's just so fucking bad. How could you be so fucking bad? I'd rather see Bray Wyatt or The Fiend versus Drew McIntyre over this, and I can't stand Fiend matches. Just WWE brought these legends back to do what? Bring the ratings up? I wonder how many people stopped watching after tonight. Again, the hardcore fans who are guaranteed to be here. The people you don't cater to because you know they're going to be there. How many people stopped fucking watching and said, you know what? Legends Night was the night I pull the plug and I watch something else. Or I go and play a video game. I go out with my friends. Something I probably haven't been doing on Mondays for the last 15, 20 some years. Here's the thing. I don't make money fucking doing this. I wish I did because I think I'm owed something by WWE because they make me sit through this shit. I do this because I want to see WWE get better and I want to be on here one day. You know what? That was a damn good episode of Monday Night Raw. That was a damn good episode of SmackDown. SmackDown has had better stuff than WWE. And it was Bayley and Sasha Banks plus Roman Reigns plus Fiend with Alexa Bliss. But now it's just Roman Reigns and that's getting repetitive. This just solidified what we all know again and again and again. Vince McMahon has to go. Until Vince McMahon goes, this show will never, and I mean never, get better. Now, if you watch this match, Keith Lee came out and the legends were there. They're clapping, they're happy and everything. They're all on the line. Then, during the match, at least 2 or 3 times, maybe 4, we see up on the stage the legends sitting shoulder to shoulder, maskless. I think back to, what was it, 2 days, like last week or a week before that, Mick Foley goes on Twitter letting us know he has COVID. He got COVID during a virtual meeting from one of his assistants that was helping him. A virtual meet and greet from assistants that were helping him. And in that post, he said, we need to mask up and social distance. Mick Foley, fuck you, screw you, you hypocrite. Yeah, that's why back at Survivor Series, you're in the back with all your little legend buddies, arm in arm, taking a picture with only one legend wearing a mask, and it sure as the hell wasn't you. Then you have all these legends, a lot of them senior fucking citizens, sitting shoulder to shoulder with not a fucking mask on. Why? Because Vince McMahon doesn't like masks to be seen. You could have had all the legends watching from ringside if you want to do the whole social distancing thing. So I don't want to see any fucking WWE performer, WWE legend, any WWE personnel going on Twitter, Parler, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, I don't give a shit, telling me or anybody else to mask up and social distance when you had senior fucking citizens on national TV doing the exact fucking opposite. That right there just showed you how much hypocrisy we have in this fucking world. Give me a fucking break. I never want to hear anybody tell me or anybody else to mask up and to social distance. WWE just showed you that we don't need to. If Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter and Tori Wilson and all these other people can sit there shoulder to shoulder, cheering and clapping and happy to watch a WWE Championship match while the rest of us are stuck at fucking home, which, how many people are going to go to a WWE event anyway after the first 3 weeks? After the first week, I should say. Yes, when crowds come back, I guarantee you the very first episode of Raw and SmackDown will be sold out. Everyone's going to be there. Like, if they're like, okay, it's all open up, we can have full crowds, boom, that thing's going to be sold out. But after these I guarantee you half the crowd will be gone by the end of the show. Just saying. This show was just pathetic. And Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard need to go. Triple H needs to come up, run Raw and SmackDown. HBK runs NXT UK. I don't know who the fuck would run on any of these other NXTs, but Triple H needs to be up on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown before it's too late. Because Triple H is getting up there in age. How long before he is in that position where he's out of touch? It's just pathetic. WWE just cannot. WWE cannot lose Vince McMahon fast enough. And here's the thing. I just feel like it's any day now. The investors or the board of directors can hold a meeting and say, Vince McMahon, we have no confidence in your ability to run this company anymore. You're out. You have no power in WWE anymore. The company is not you're not in charge of WWE anymore. You're no longer the CEO or anything else. We will appoint our own CEO. We will appoint somebody to run the day-to-day operations. We will appoint who will change and make sure this goes better. And then we get somebody who will be like the new Jim Herd, who will take this company even further down in the dumps. So if if Vince McMahon and the family want to keep this in the family, they better have Vince McMahon step aside and put Hunter in charge before it's too late. Honestly, Vince McMahon needs to be at the part of his career or in his life where he is sitting back at Stanford, signing checks. If they want to tell Vince McMahon the script, that's fine. You know what he does? You sit there and you talk to Vince and you go, and the only thing he should be doing is like, will the sponsors have any problem with it? If the answer is no, it's good. Other than that, he doesn't have any creative power whatsoever. But who knows when that's going to be? It could be tomorrow. It could be 6 years from now. It could be 20 years from now. Who the fuck knows? The rumors of Vince McMahon having bad health, I wouldn't be too surprised. But if you actually, it's like there's just so much that needs to be done. If they get a big rating this week, which again, I highly doubt it because the first 5 minutes, I wanted to get out to 5 fucking minutes. Could you imagine a casual fan who's turning on to see what Hulk Hogan's going to be up to or what anybody's going to be up to, and they see how this show started? How many of them said, well, changing the channel because this is cringe? Yeah. I hope that they got the best rating in the last 12 months, or I hope they got another all-time rating low without football. We will see. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. Maybe it is. I don't know because when SmackDown ratings is going to be coming on Tuesday because of the New Year Day holiday. We'll see. But that is your Raw review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Follow me on Parallel at the France Club. Follow me on twitch.tv/the France Club. Follow me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for real professional wrestling. And before I go, Cody Rhodes put out on his Nightmare Family YouTube channel. They streamed it today. It was either streamed or premiered. I can't remember which one, but it doesn't matter. The Nightmare Factory Student Showcase, where students who have been wrestling for only 12 or have been training for 12 weeks got to show and wrestle their very first matches. And you want to know something? you could find more entertainment in that one fucking hour of students of 12 weeks than you did tonight on Monday Night Raw. But I'm getting out of here. You guys have a good one. See you later.